Hey guys, DPG here, David Patrick Green, davidpatrickgreen.com, hackhollywood.com. Please check out Hack Hollywood if you want to learn how to have an acting career without making all the mistakes that I and most other people made. And before I forget, please like, subscribe, and get notifications for my channel so you can get more awesome content like this. So today I'm going to teach you the one thing you need to learn to have a successful acting career. And this is even above and beyond acting skills and family in the business and all of that other good stuff that you wish you had and think is the secret to getting your career off to a flying start. So the one skill you need to learn is focus. What is focus? Well, it means directing all your energy in one place. Because if you can learn to do that, then nothing else will affect your acting career because you won't even know these things exist. Most of what we focus on, which isn't really focus at all, but it's a distraction. Okay, most of what we focus on are distractions. What you need to do is learn how to focus on doing what you say you want to do, okay? So if you want to have an acting career, then focus on doing the things that will help you have an acting career, not all the distractions that lead you here, there, and everywhere. Oh, get new headshots, get this, get that. So the basics to having an acting career are as follows. Okay, and this is irrefutable. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells you because this is common sense. And it applies not only to acting, but anything else in life. So the basics are basically as I've laid out in Hack Hollywood. The first, but I'm going to reduce it a little bit because it's not necessarily relevant, but the first thing you have to do is understand who you are, what you have to offer. And that alone will help you so much because when you have the confidence to say, this is who I am and this is what I have to offer, then people will be able to read that confidence within you and they will believe what you have to say, as opposed to someone who just, let's say, submits themselves online and they're just kind of like, I don't know anything about this, but I'll just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what happens, because they have no focus and they have no appreciation for who they are and what they have to offer. Okay, so that's the number one thing you need to focus on, and you should do that before anything else, is establish who you are, write it down, and believe in it and understand that it can't be taken away or changed by anyone else. And that is your ticket to everything else, because your goal in life should not be to do all the acting jobs or all of the jobs, because you can't. You just aren't going to be a fit. Your goal should be to represent yourself as you truly are, because then people can decide for themselves, because it is their decision, whether you are a good fit for a role or not. Okay, the second thing you need in acting, as in life, are skills. Okay, the ability to do what it is you can do. So it's, in this case, the ability to represent yourself as you are as an actor, okay? And this doesn't really mean assuming any character or anything like that, because character is just code for you. I mean, this is actors getting distracted by words when in truth they can't really change who they are. I mean, even if you're playing somebody else, you'll never be that person. You'll never be able to get inside their head. So you'll maybe be able to make it sort of look like you're them. You know, if you're playing Lennon or Queen Elizabeth or whomever, you're never going to be that person. So don't worry about trying to be that person. Just be yourself. Understand what's going on, the facts of the story, and behave accordingly. The story's going to tell you what to do. You can't change it. So all you have to do is focus on your own internal instinctual reactions. But to do that, you need training. And training even is a misnomer. You need practice. with some feedback. And you need to get the feedback from someone who thinks the same way as you do. Someone who believes that acting is simple and not complicated, who doesn't create 5 million exercises to get good at one thing, and then at the end of the day you've done all the exercises and you're like, wait a second, I don't even know, now what do I do, right? I have all these exercises and practice and et cetera, but now what do I do? So, the journey, which takes years and years and years, is really a journey within oneself. And, that's the good news and that's the bad news. The good news of it is, hey, you've already got what it takes in a way. The bad news is most people are not very good at revealing themselves and who they are. And that is the essence of acting, is revealing yourself, making yourself vulnerable to others. The third part of the equation that you need to learn to focus on, so let's say you know who you are and what you've got to offer, and that's constantly evolving. Even your knowledge of it is constantly evolving. Your knowledge of yourself and who you are is constantly evolving. So don't ever get too cozy. Be open. The second part is acquiring the skills so that you can represent yourself well. And really, the final step is having relationships with people who are doing things for which you would be a fit, or for which you believe you would be a fit. You never know. You never know what their vision is. You never know what's going through someone else's mind. So it's important to have relationships with people so they know who you are. They have an impression of you. And the more honest you are about who you are, the more honest and truthful their impression of you will be. And foster these relationships, grow these relationships. Because when one person who's like that knows who you are and they value you and they understand what you contribute, then it's sort of like knowing everybody they have a relationship with at the same time. Because if they like you and they trust you and they know what you bring to the table, even if they know what the boundaries are, they will suggest to their friends, their colleagues, other people they work with, hey, you know who'd be good for this? DPG. I think he'd be good for this. You should call him in for a meeting. Not an audition, a meeting, right? Where you talk about the project and they get to know you. This is really how art works. It's not some silly 30-second audition, because what can they really tell from something like that? Not a lot. But all along the way, okay, all of this stuff, those are the three things you need to focus on, okay? Who are you and what do you have to offer? Acquiring the skills to represent yourself properly once you know who you are and what you have to offer. And 3, relationships with people who are doing projects you think you'd be a fit for. Super, super simple. Now, here comes the focus part. How do you concentrate on these simple things and not get distracted by all the other ideas out there? People telling you, do this, do that, do online submissions, get a demo reel. I mean, demo reel, you've never done anything worth demoing, right? Right? If you're just starting out, or even if you've been around for a while, what's a demo reel going to do for you? And by the way, nobody looks at any of this stuff, okay? People will give you these things so you'll go away and leave them alone, but they never look at this stuff. Nobody ever looks at my demo reel. It doesn't matter the size of the project. I think I've been asked for my demo reel a grand total of 2 times in 13, 14 years of professional acting. Okay, I used to spend hours and days. I was like a filmmaker with my demo reel, and no one will look at it. It's because it doesn't really matter. If you've got recognizable stuff on your resume and they know who you are because you've met them, or somebody they know knows who you are, then you're golden, because they'll never really know what you're going to do with their project and their part until they see you do it. So even with a demo reel, it doesn't really change much, even though people may insist on it. And again, you may be going, but they insist on it. If I were you, don't listen to what other people say. Have a reason why you are doing it your way. Explain to them the reason. maybe like I don't have headshots, or I don't have a demo reel, or I don't have a business card, because I believe in one-on-one, face-to-face personal relationships where we trust each other and we know each other, and I know you're not going to let me down, and you know I'm not going to let you down. Okay? Doesn't that sound a lot better than all this phony baloney marketing, trying to trick people into things, trying to hope that the work you've done in the past will lead to the work you're going to do in the future because of some demo reel, which, what are the chances it's even going to look anything like the project that somebody is casting for right now? So anyway, I'm just describing some of the things that may tempt you, may distract you, right? And it is temptation, you know, that whole biblical stuff. So to focus, you need to decide for yourself that these are the things you're going to do. Create a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't say, what do you suggest, okay? What do you suggest for yourself to get where you want to go? Write out a plan and create a schedule, a calendar of activities, not results. Honestly, you can be results oriented, but results really aren't up to you, right? Like, you don't get to hire yourself. Someone else will hire you. So you have to develop a plan with doing things in mind. And when you get feedback and responses and reactions, then you can make adjustments accordingly. But again, almost everything you do is only going to apply to the situation in which you do it. There may be some things that you can screw up, like, for instance, if you applied to get an audition, you got the audition, and you didn't know what you were doing. Hey, buddy. Squirrel. If you didn't know what you were doing, yes, you need to make the adjustment that you need to work on your skills more. But basically, if you keep trying to learn what needs to be done better and better and better, then you will find your way. There's really no two ways about it. And you will surpass everyone else you know who's following it this typical traditional way, which is always asking this typical traditional way of that people teach to actors, which is ask somebody else what you should do. And inevitably, because somebody above you said, well, you should get headshots and you should do this and you should do that, since you feel like you're below them, you actually pass that along. And so if you avoid tradition, because you shouldn't do anything if you can't come up with a reason why it's going to work, right? Like, because other people tell you to do it is not a reason to do something. I mean, I know that's probably 99% of the reason why everybody does everything is because somebody else told them to. But trust me, start thinking for yourself. Lay out your own plan. Create a calendar, a schedule, and then just start doing the things that seem to make sense, logically speaking. Like, to get an acting job, I'll just tell you, and then you can put it together for yourself. To get an acting job, you really only need two things. You need yourself, the ability to do the job, and to be able to prove that you can do the job by maybe looking at some material, but sometimes they'll actually give you the job without even doing that. But the one thing that's missing, aside from you and your skills and talents and personality and all that, is a relationship with somebody, okay? So those are the two things. So all you need to do is figure out, okay, once I've established who I am and I can do what I need to do, how do I make connections with people? You don't have to make a lot of them. Just start with one, okay? See what happens with one single person and see how far you can take that. And if that pans out, well, then maybe you should try and develop some more, okay? So that's it. And I'm going to give you a book that will really help you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to focus. And I'll tell you what focus is. Focus is paying attention to the tiniest, smallest detail, 100% at a time, okay? So everything you are doing, that's all you are doing at any given moment, okay? So for instance, if I was going to draw a picture, you see that little bud, those buds there, okay? I wouldn't be staring at the bud. I would be looking at, let's say I was going to draw the bud, right? I would have to pick a point on the bud, and I'd have to figure out the angle of all of, on in proportion to my page and how big it's going to be and all that stuff. Okay, so that is what I'm talking about. That is actual focus. It's focusing. It's hard to not use the word. It's paying attention, giving all of your attention to the tiniest possible detail every single moment that you are doing an activity, okay? So once you've done that first little line, then you would look at the next little line and the next little line, and then you start, and you just take it one step at a time. And while you're focusing on those little things, you're not really paying attention to how long something is taking. You're not hearing all these voices about what you should be doing and how you're screwing this up and all of this other junk that's floating around in your mind. You're not self-criticizing, oh, this will never work, this is going to take forever, but I want this, but I want that. All of your energy and focus is on that one tiny detail. And if you just do it that way, one detail at a time, you will be amazed at how quickly the whole thing comes together. And honestly, it's fun to go, oh wow, by focusing, I made this big thing. But just don't ever believe your own hype, okay? Don't ever get to the point where you're like, oh, I did this, now I can stop. It never ends, okay? If you want to get to the top of a field like acting or entertainment where it's so competitive, you never really can take your foot off the gas. You can leverage your position when you get to be very successful. You can hire other people. You can get other people to do your bidding. You can make calls instead of, spending hours and hours and hours, running over lines or whatever it is you are doing. But it's never going to end. So you need to learn to love it. You either love it automatically or you need to go, hey, if I'm going to do this, I might as well enjoy myself. I might as well love it. So focus and enjoy it, because focus is extremely enjoyable. It's like the most calm, beautiful place you've ever been. It's really what meditation aims to. It's taking all of your attention off things that you don't want to be paying attention to and putting it on what you want to be paying attention to. Tiny little detail at a time. So that's it. To help you with focus, I suggest you get the book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I'll put a link to it in the description, and trust me, it's amazing. It is so amazing how quickly it teaches you to use the right side of the brain, which is the artistic side, and that's also the focus side. It's not the thinking side, okay? It teaches you to stop thinking and start focusing and just paying attention to what you're doing. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comments, questions, suggestions. I can't do my job unless you guys help me out. So help me out. Let me know what you want to hear, and I will talk to you soon.